What's up, guys? This is Kephas. I really wish that I could play Classic on an Xbox or something, because I don't have a laptop like I used to. I have a desktop now because I need it for recording. I need the Power PC for other gaming, and so I've moved away from the laptop scene for a long time. But one of the nice things about having a laptop is that I could play WoW wherever I went. If I went to like a friend's house, or if I went to when I was in school, I'd play it. Any downtime I could. I was writing well, I couldn't do that then because I didn't have internet. Like, you didn't have, like, you had to be connected to the internet to play WoW, but like anywhere I could, wherever I could get an internet connection, I was playing Warcraft. And man, I would love to have that option now, because like we go and visit my wife's family a lot, which is awesome. I like hanging out with them because we play cards and stuff like that. They're just really fun to hang out with. What's funny is, like, I started going over there, and I'm a gamer. Like, I probably have a little bit of a problem because I play a lot, but my family, including my in-laws, like, are very supportive of that. They're like, "Hey, man, that's your thing. We don't mind." So when I go over there, like, my mother-in-law is like, she's awesome, and my father-in-law, they're like, bring your games. We got a TV in the living room. Like, they have like 2 living rooms, so like I bring my games and I'll play them, and all of my wife's nieces and nephews, which she has like a ton, like over a dozen nieces and nephews, they sit around and watch me play. So whenever I don't bring it, they're like, "Oh, you didn't bring your game? We wanted to watch." So now, like, even like my mother-in-law's like, "Hey, next time you come, bring your games. We'll watch you play." So it's really cool, and I'm like, that makes me feel really good, because I kind of do this. I do this on YouTube as well. So if somebody likes watching me play, that makes me feel really good. So, anyway, having said all that, I would love to be able to like take WoW over there and play that. I don't know how much. Well, I'm sure they would get a kick out of watching that, because there's so much going on in this game. So, but that actually, it's kind of funny that I mentioned that, kind of like that. I didn't intend to segue into something, but talking about like taking WoW portable, I kind of wish WoW was on console. And oh geez, what's going on here? I don't know. I know a lot of like WoW players are not fans of that idea for some reason. I don't know why. Well, I do. I think I know why. I think the reason why a lot of WoW fans aren't into that idea is because, I'm not trying to be mean to you as a WoW fan. I'm a WoW fan, but I would say that the vast majority of WoW fans, ooh, I need to sell stuff. But the vast majority of WoW players and WoW fans live in a WoW bubble. Most of them are not gamers in the traditional sense, and by that I mean they're not out playing a lot of other games besides WoW. That's kind of been the case for a long time. It's funny, like, I learned that just playing with people and having friends. I would mention other games, like, and people wouldn't know what I was talking about. And it wasn't like obscure games, like something weird from like the old PS1 era, like Suikoden or something like that. Like, what the heck is that? Or just one of those weird obscurest games. It'd be like more known games, but no, I never played that game. And it's like, man, y'all, you're not really gamers. Like, you play WoW and that's cool, but you're still not my crowd. I'm a gamer, man. I play everything. I love games, which is fine if this is all you play. But having said that, I think that sometimes shapes a lot of people's opinions and a lot of people's just lack of awareness of what's out there and what's possible. And so one of the things, like, whenever I've done a console port episode, or I make my macros, or I even mention that I play games with a controller, most people are fine with that, right? Like, most people are like, that's cool. But every now and then I'll get some elitist acting person who's all like, "Oh, well, you better never play with me, because," and I'm like, I would never. I don't play with losers. But like, I mean, I don't take kindly to like the elitist attitude. So it's like, yeah, I'm not gonna be nice back, I guess. But like, but there's like this weird stigma against people, like against the possibility of playing this game with a controller. Like you would automatically suck. And it's really strange. Or like playing with a controller would make Blizzard make the games worse, right? I think a lot of it's just the PC. I mean, it's just weird, man. It's weird how people are. Like, people think, oh, you know, PC gamers are better than console gamers. It's really weird. It's like, what year is it, and how old are we now? Like, you know, like, I don't know what the thought process is, but what I do know is that when it comes to like playing WoW with a controller or whatever, or WoW being on console, like Final Fantasy 14 already does that, okay? And that is the argument, right? Like Final Fantasy 14 does that. It has the same kind of content that WoW has. It has PvP, has PvE, it has raids that are very difficult. It has a lot more, you know, casual things to do, and it may be more, I don't know if it's more casually minded, but and there are plenty of progression rating people out there that play that game, and honestly, as a game, it's actually quite a bit more challenging than WoW. Like WoW rotations nowadays, especially, are so easy that if you like, you can easily play WoW with a controller. You can play Final Fantasy 14 with a controller, so you can certainly play WoW with a controller. I mean, people are healing, and healing is very easy with a controller in Final Fantasy because of how the navigation works. You just have to program it correctly. It's nice. This isn't like a shooter where, you know, pinpoint mouse accuracy is significantly different. You know, someone playing with a controller could play just as well as someone playing with a mouse and keyboard in WoW. It's not like Overwatch or Call of Duty or, you know, one of those games. I hate to break it to people, but you know, you're just wrong. And it's fine if people are apprehensive about it. You can have your opinion. I disagree with it, but you're definitely wrong if you think of people who play with a controller as scrubs, or you think of console players as beneath you. You need to grow up, quite frankly. And I think a lot of the problem, like I said, is that WoW players live in a bubble. They don't know what's out there. They don't know what's possible. And I think that's one of those things where adding in native controller support, or more importantly, adding in, well, porting the games over to console, is something that this game desperately needs right now. Because, again, if you get out of your bubble for 5 minutes, you can see that WoW is in desperate need of some changes, and it's in desperate need of more players. It's not huge like it was, and it's still, you know, one of Blizzard and even Activision's biggest money makers. But there is an untapped market out there that they could benefit from immensely, and not have to change a single thing other than just add in controller support. They don't have to change a thing about the game at all. Just add in the ability to play with the controller and add in cross-platform play, just like Final Fantasy does. And continue making the game as you always have, and if you're playing with the person with the controller, you'll never notice. I guarantee it. You would never know unless they told you, because I've been playing with the controller for years, and people never, ever, ever notice that I'm playing with a controller until I mention it, and then they're blown away by it, because they look at my DPS numbers, and they look at how I'm playing, and then, you know, they would never know. You would never know unless someone told you half the time. Like, it kind of reminds me of like people who are like that, like, oh, controller, it's awful, it's stupid. Kind of reminds me a lot of my someone in my family who is very picky. Like, I'm picky with food, but I'll try things. But they are not picky at all, or they are very picky. Like, you'll have them try something, and you like, they won't know what's in it, and they'll be like, oh, this is so good, and then you'll tell them what's in it, and like, ew, this is nasty. Like, just because they're that stubborn, right? And it's kind of the same thing with playing WoW with a controller. It's like, get over yourself and get with the times, because that's, I think it's something that they'll do, and if they don't, they're dumb for not doing it, because it's, again, you're talking about adding a whole new market to the game. and you're talking about, you know, just giving people more options. If it went to console, I would buy it on console for sure. I'd play it on PC when I'm home, and I'd play it on console when I want to be more portable. And you don't have to change the way the game is designed, contrary to what people might think. You really don't. You can still design it the same way you always have. You can still create rotations that are fun and engaging. You could. I think that not only should Blizzard de-prune, de-prune, or however I'm trying to say it, bring back more spells. Not only should they do that, they can do that and add controller support, and it's fine. Because, like I said, Final Fantasy XIV has way more spells than WoW. I mean, way more. It's not even... Final Fantasy XIV's rotations make WoW look like easy mode all the way. And that's the other thing, too, is it's like, you're kidding yourself, like, with that. Like, the rotations are so dumbed down as it is. It's amazing that they haven't already added controller support, because it plays so simply now. And honestly, like, going back to Classic, like, rotations weren't huge back then either. I guess they were just more engaging because there was a lot of flavor abilities. It's more interesting. There's a lot more to, like, weaving auto attacks and auto shots, and, that kind of stuff is kind of cool. But in general, Classic has very few rotational abilities. With my controller, I'm able to hit, like, even without macros, I'm able to hit over 30 action buttons. Not to mention having buttons designed for interface things like opening up your character sheet, bags, map, all of that kind of stuff. I mean, I have all that kind of stuff mapped out to a controller. And then not only that, just giving modders something more to do. Like, I absolutely think that adding in a controller is a good idea, and I think the only reason why people think it's not is because they either haven't played Final Fantasy XIV or they're in denial. I can't think of a genuinely good argument to make for not doing it. There really isn't one. And also just to take it to console to add more players, to give the game more of an appeal, to more people. I mean, that would be wonderful. That would be amazing for this game. And again, something about it, like, that's something that WoW needs drastically right now. Is it needs some change. It needs something new. It needs a new influx of players. And again, like Final Fantasy XIV, it's a console game. It's a console and PC cross-platform game. People play with the controllers. It's one of the most friendliest communities I've ever been in. It's way more friendly than WoW. And WoW isn't even that bad, but Final Fantasy XIV, it's a lot more like... It's even nicer than the Classic community is right now, which is saying something, because like I said, for the most part, the Classic community is incredibly friendly and helpful. So there's no, like, all the excuses that people have, they don't even hold up. And the thing is like, that would be fine if it was a new thing, but Final Fantasy XIV's been around for years. It's been around. World Reborn, or Realm Reborn, has been around for a very long time, and it's had all this since it's come out. So there's no excuse to if you're really going to try to make an argument and claim that you have all this knowledge, there's no excuse to not know this. Your arguments are already been proven wrong with another game that is arguably right now more successful than the one that you're playing that you say doesn't need it, and would likely benefit from it incredibly, and also make it more competitive with the game that is likely beating it right now. So that's one of those things that, Final Fantasy XIV is doing all that kind of stuff. It's nice. The only thing that sucks is, like, you have to rebuy the game on both platforms, which isn't really new to anything. Like, it's obviously that's how it is. But what's cool is I can play Final Fantasy XIV on my PS4, then switch over to my PC and play it on the same account with the same character, and just, have different interfaces set up for both, which is kind of cool. And I think Final Fantasy is moving to Xbox, which is really cool too. So yeah, I just think that would be a beneficial thing to add to WoW, is just adding that in and making it more like, I mean, you give people more options to play, you add in more players, and you give people the option to play the game portably without adding in, you know, having to go buy a big laptop. If you already own a console, like, I don't know if WoW Classic could be played on the Switch or not. I'm sure WoW Classic could, but I don't know if retail could or not. But man, that would be amazing. Being able to play WoW on the Switch would be incredible. I've seen people play it on their phones with like Moonlight, and I've even streamed it from my my computer to another TV in a different room wirelessly through Moonlight, like on my Fire Stick, which is really cool. I wish I could do that. I could if I did a lot of janky port forwarding and stuff like that. I'm just not really feeling like I want to do that. But you know, like, I just think it's really neat. Just talking about, you know, just different options. And like I said, I can kind of understand if people are apprehensive about it. That's fine, as long as you're not a jerk, and just trying to come off like, oh, I'm better than you because I don't play with a controller, and controller people, console players are scrubs. Like, get out of here. I have no respect for that way of thinking. Like, that's juvenile, you know. So if that's your approach to it, then you're just dumb. You're just an idiot. That's all there's to, like, you know, it's one of those things. Sometimes, like, I try my best to you know, hold back my opinions and not be too confrontational. But there are some things that, like, I feel strongly enough about that I'm not going to sugarcoat how I feel. And this is one of those areas. Like, I don't have a lot of respect for that way of thinking, that elitist mindset at all. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, let me know by clicking that like button. And feel free to share it with your friends so they can enjoy it as well. Don't forget, you can subscribe to the channel and click on the bell icon to be notified as soon as new videos are posted. You can also follow me on Facebook and Twitter, and if you'd like, you can support this channel on Patreon. Links to all of this can be found in the description below. This is Kephas. Until next time.